Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is VirtualNunchucks. Welcome to the channel. Today what I have for you is a list of 7 games that I think defined the generation that we currently are playing. Now, these 7 games are games that I have personally played or games that have already come out and been out for a while. And I know that we have at least 2, Last of Us Part 2 that comes out on the 19th, and then of course Ghost of Tsushima that comes out on July 17th, that are first party titles. And this list may have to be updated or changed in some respects, but let's talk about the 7 games that kind of defined the PS4 as, well, let's be real, the place to play. It's unique experiences, stories, whatever the case you want to throw at it. At least these games in some way pushed the platform and pushed the generation forward. Okay, you're going to disagree with some of these, and that's okay. You can add to this list in the comments section below if you want to. And if you enjoyed this list, please, oh please, drop a like on the video and consider subscribing and turning on your notification bell as well. Alright, so here we go. Number 7, and this is going to be one of those controversial picks. Number 7 is The Order 1886. And I can already hear the comment section below. Oh my goodness, Virtual, that was a tech demo. That was nothing but a disappointment and blah blah blah. Okay? Yes. In some respects, it was a tech demo. But it was a gorgeous tech demo. Okay? And yes, it was more like an interactive experience than a video game in some respects. I will grant you that. Okay? But if you remember, E3, when it was announced as a launch title for the PS4, everybody was like, I gotta play this game, I gotta play this game. Because it looked great, and the story and the characters looked to be intriguing. The story setup was intriguing, so people were like, we gotta play this game, and wow, am I lucky to have a PS4. And then we got a hold of it, and we found out it was not everything we wanted, and not everybody was happy with it. But I was happy with it. I was sad that they ended on a cliffhanger. I think they intended to do more with the universe. The story was great, in my opinion. The graphics were absolutely gorgeous looking. But I think it was the reason it was as bad as it was, or as mediocre as it was, because of time constraints and stuff for the launch titles and stuff. I think Ready at Dawn did not have the time that they wanted in order to make the game exactly what they wanted, so they planned on making up for the flaws in a sequel that we never got. And I am not alone in this, okay? I am not the lone guy out on a branch waiting for somebody like a cartoon character to cut it off and just send me down to the ground, you know, in a big old heaping pile of trash. I'm not waiting for that. I'm not alone, at least. Jake Baldino was, who's with GameRanks, was on the PS5 reveal event with Jeff Keighley, and he actually said that in PS5, when he was asked what he wants to see with the PS5, he was actually one of the few people, well, I think the only person at that event to say, I want to see The Order 1887 because I want to see more of that world. I want to see Ready at Dawn get another shot at making us a great game. And because he enjoyed it, he said the story about the vampires, the werewolves, and all that stuff was amazing. And he wanted to see more. And I felt a little vindicated there, I guess you could say, because I am not the only one that feels that way. So again, it's controversial, I know, but if you think about it, it was a gorgeous game. It looked amazing, and for a launch title, it was something that said, wow, if this is how good it gets, or this is how good it looks at launch, what can we do later with this in the later cycle of the lifespan of the console. So that's why I picked it as number 7 on my list. So relax, it's the bottom of the list, guys. You'll be okay. Alright. The number 6 pick that I picked was Infamous Second Son. It was around the same time, launch title, or give or take. And it was not only a good game as far as fun factor, let's be real, because it was really, really fun to have different powers. My favorite was one of my favorites was the neon power, or the what do they call it, the video power, where you got the to have wings and glide around the city and stuff like that. It was the city of Seattle. It was set in the infamous universe, and the characters were engaging. They were funny. Delson was a funny character. Uh, he was a young man, and it showed. He was brash. He was impulsive, but he was also very, very funny. And depending on how you played him, he was either very kind and helpful, or he could turn really, really evil, and it was crazy. But the different powers that you got to see, like the neon power, or the rock power, or the flame throwing power. I mean, it was a beautiful game. It was a gorgeous game to play. It was an engaging game, and they used the motion controls and the touchpad very well with the painting of the doing the graffiti around the city and stuff like that. It was a nice way to implement all of the features into the PlayStation 4, and I think it did push the console forward a little bit. If Sucker Punch took that kind of risk, I think the open, with the open world, with the characters, with the way they pushed the hardware forward, I think it was great. I mean, I had a lot of fun. I think I played that game 3 or 4 times. So, well, okay, maybe 3 times. But each time that I did, I just sat back and marveled at how bright, how colorful, and how awesome all of the different abilities and everything around me looked. I mean, it was gorgeous. Um, so again, it's one of those stories that I think you should go back and play. And if you don't want to play it, then at least watch it. Make sure that you watch it in 1080p at 60 frames a second, okay? Because otherwise it looks bad. I know, because I went back and looked at it. All right. All right, so there you go. There's my number, let's see, my number 6 pick. Number 5 on my list. And this was kind of hard for me because I wanted to put number 5 either. Number 5 was kind of hard because, in my opinion, number 5 deserves to be a little bit better than this, but I'm going to put as my number 5 pick Death Stranding. Death Stranding is not a game for everybody. But it definitely was a Hideo Kojima game. It definitely will mess with your head, and it will definitely make you question everything in existence almost. But it was a gorgeous game. It was different. It was something that was uniquely Hideo Kojima. It was uniquely PlayStation. You couldn't find it anywhere else, and it was definitely something to sit up and take note. Now, whether or not you liked the game is something completely different. Some people said it's a walking simulator. It's nothing but a weird walking simulator, and that's all you do, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, for a good majority of the game, pretty much that's all you're doing is walking and carrying stuff from point A to point B. But I think the loneliness of Sam Bridges, I think the the story elements where you're trying to reconnect humanity and help humanity grow and basically save your country and save humanity from the BTs. I think it was a good story. I think it was uniquely told, and I don't think anybody else could have done it but Hideo Kojima. I think it was gorgeous and unique, and it was different, man. It made me scratch my head a couple of times. It made me look at the screen and go, "What?" And well, I won't say exactly what came to my head because that's not nice. But there are times that I just was baffled. There were times that I was amazed, and there were times that I just sat back and went, "Wow, this is gorgeous." And then there were other times that I was like, "This is the dumbest game I've ever played." So all of those things, um, came up. But I have to say, if you're looking for something that is uniquely PlayStation and definitely was something that had never been done before and it was a risk for Sony to take, I think you need to give Hideo Kojima some credit and give Death Stranding some credit for what it's done for this generation of gaming consoles. All right, so here is my number 4 pick. I I really had trouble kind of deciding where to put this one, but Detroit Become Human. Detroit Become Human was a PS4 exclusive done by Quatic Dreams. I think I pronounced that right. David Cage, okay? And yes, he has a hit and miss record. Heavy Rain was good. Beyond Two Souls, not so much. And various other games. He does a lot of narrative games, and he does a lot of weird control schemes in his games. But the story, the environments, the characters, and just the way the game, I mean, it's just pretty. And a futuristic, you know, uh, futuristic Blade Runner kind of way. It's pretty. I mean, it's just pretty. It's gorgeous to look at. But what got me was the characters. My favorite character being Connor. But I also enjoyed Marcus. I enjoyed Kara's story with Alice, and the way that the narrative was interwoven between the two, or between the three characters, and the choices that you made. You could permakill your characters if you weren't careful, and the choices you made affected how the story was played out, and I always enjoy that. But if you're gonna play one David Cage game, okay, and you don't play, and it's not Heavy Rain, then you need to play this one. You can leave the others alone, but you need to play this one and Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain was a PS3 title, and if you're going to play a PS4 title, you need to play Detroit Become Human, because it was definitely something. It was definitely something uniquely PlayStation and definitely worth playing. So much so that it sold so well, and was so successful they ported it over to PC. So now you can get it on PC as well. So take a look at it, man, because it's worth checking out. Okay, and do yourself a favor if you do play it. If you do play it, live with the choices you make. Don't go back and load a save until the game's over. Live with the choices you made, and then replay it again if you want to see something different. Okay, so yeah, definitely something that you don't want to miss this generation. Okay, all right. So now that I've gotten the bottom games out of the way, hopefully these next 3 games, yeah, you may disagree with me where I put them in my list, but the next 3 games hopefully will have a little bit more consensus. Yes, that was good choices, all right? Now this is where it gets really, really hard, because my next 3 games were very difficult to put in their spots, but I gotta put them somewhere. Spider-Man PS4. Or Marvel Spider-Man on PS4. Okay. It was a gorgeous game. It was a wonderful representation of New York City from the Marvel perspective, with the Marvel characters in it. The amount of Easter eggs, the amount of fan service, the amount of just awesome little comic book nerd stuff you could find in this game was amazing. Not only that, the story and the combat were really good. So much so that I when they announced at the PS5 event that we were getting a Spider-Man Miles Morales this holiday, being a launch title most likely, I was like, yes. Okay, give me more of that world. Give me more of what you created, Insomniac. Thank you very much. Take my money now. If you didn't get the chance to play Spider-Man PS4 for whatever reason, you need to go back right now. You need to buy the Game of the Year edition, or the whatever they call it, and get all the DLC and play the DLC. The DLC is a hit and miss bag. There are some good elements. There are some bad elements to the DLC, but they add so much to the world of Marvel Spider-Man that I think it's worth playing, even if you don't like all of the DLC. That's fine. But this is one of those games that definitely defined the PS4. My dog has to go out. Hang on, guys. Okay, guys. Sorry about that. When your dog's gotta go, you gotta go. That's all there is to it. Anyway, So, what were we talking about? Spider-Man. That's what. But yeah, I mean, that was definitely a console-defining game, and I appreciate what Insomniac Games was able to do, and I cannot wait to see the future titles that are going to come out of that game. So yeah, play that game for sure. Okay, so the next two were very, very, very hard. I didn't know where to put these so far. Um, but I'm going to go with this particular order. Horizon Zero Dawn. And I know I've mentioned this on this channel about 100 times, but robot dinosaurs and a girl with a bow, and that's how you take them out? Not only that, I know I say the combat and the dinosaurs and the bow all the time, but the character of Aloy, she was fiery when she needed to be fiery. She was engaging. You actually cared about the character of the game. You actually cared about the world. Every time there was something, every time she ran into something new, and that's a credit to the voice acting in this game. Uh, she was filled with a sense of wonder and amazement at what she found and what she learned. Uh, and then, of course, the story was engaging. The world was like nothing we'd never seen up to that point. Now you can say, well, there's 100,000 different post-apocalyptic games out there. But yes, there are. There are a lot of those. But this one was unique and was at sometimes was awe-inspiring, and sometimes I actually sat back and said, "Wow." Because the story didn't exactly go the way I thought it was going to go. People who I thought were going to be good guys ended up not being good guys. People who I thought were going to be evil guys ended up being not so evil. And then to see the story treatment and how it went just amazed me, because at one point I thought, well, um, this is how this is going to go, and it didn't. Not everything panned out the way I thought it was going to go. And every time I discovered a new area, and every time I ran across a new monster or a new machine that I hadn't seen before, I there was a sense of dread. There was a sense of amazement. There was a sense of uh, wonder, I guess is the right word I'm looking for. And then, of course, there was great experimentation on, okay, this weapon, how does this weapon work against this particular machine? How do I beat this particular machine? What do I do? And I think the world and the characters in this world are worth exploring. The DLC was almost... Sorry, it's terrible. I apologize for that. But the DLC was almost a standalone game in itself. It added to the game considerably, and man, the the first time you climb a long neck in the game, and you see the world from that high up, you're just amazed at how far they were able to push the graphics in the console, and how big the world was, how much lore they put in the game. It was just an incredible game, and I think that is worthy of saying it pushed the console forward. I appreciate that world, and I am so excited about the PS5 announcement at the reveal that they're going to do a Horizon 2. That was a foregone conclusion that they were going to do it at some point in time. But I was happy to see that they already have a trailer up and running, and that they're working on the game, and it probably will be out in fairly short order, and I cannot wait to see what they do with this world. So yeah, and then of course the last one on our list, the number one choice I had to put up there, at least right now, is God of War. Because yeah, what a way to reboot a series that was born on the PlayStation 2. It's now covered two console generations, but this is the way you reboot it. This is, it was given a 10 out of 10 on a lot of different websites, or pretty close to a 10 out of 10. And yeah, the combat was amazing. The story, I know I use amazing a lot, but the combat was okay. How about this? The combat was visceral. Okay, the combat was bone crushing. The combat was uh, brutal and gory. But not only was the combat all of those things, but the world, this ancient uh, Norse mythology that they put together, the way they immersed you in it, the way they wove the story together, and the way they wove the mythology into your story. It was it was awesome. Okay, it was awesome, and that is definitely one that you need to play, hands down. Uh, and then, of course, if you're like me and you've played it already, probably 2 or 3 times, you have New Game Plus, so you can keep playing it with all the gear you get. But the characters, man, Sindri and Brock are two of my favorite characters in the entire gaming world right now. Those two together, separately they were funny, but when they got together, in the game, it was funny to listen to. They were funny. They were definitely, you could tell they were siblings, and there was a little bit of a rivalry there. Uh, but man, that ending of that game, the ending of that game, man, look, one of the most awesome moments was the ending of that game, but and that was a jaw-dropping moment, by the way. But the opening of that game, where you fight the stranger that comes to your house, um, which, if you don't know already, a spoiler alert, it was, it was one of the sons of Thor? No, Odin. I can't, right now I can't think. But, seriously, no, you kill the sons of Thor later. But it was Odin's son, and honest to the Lord, that was like when you realize what you've got in store when you fight that guy, and towards the beginning of the game, and you're like, this is the first hour. What the heck, you know? Yeah. I cannot wait to see the sequel on PS5 that's eventually going to come. I cannot wait to see what they do with the universe, and where they go with that ending that we saw. Because, man, uh, the environments were absolutely stunning. The characters were engaging, and Kratos was a little more human in this one. I mean, you really felt for the guy. He just wanted to be left alone with his kid, and they wouldn't let him do that. So, I just... It was an amazing generation. And I know that we still haven't covered 2 games. We still have 2 games at least on the first party side to come out. And I cannot wait to see what happens. What I might do is update this list, obviously, but I'm also going to do a second video to cover the third-party games like Witcher 3, Red Dead Redemption 2. Gosh, there's just so many. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave me a like. Don't forget, you can always add to this list in the comment section below. If I missed any that you think I should have mentioned, please let me know. Don't forget to like the video, of course, like I said. And then, of course, follow me on Facebook.com/VirtualNunchucks, over on Twitter @VNunchucks, and, of course, Twitch.tv/VirtualNunchucks. Don't forget to like the video again. Plug in those likes. Subscribe, and of course hit the notification bell so you're notified whenever content hits the channel. Have a great day, guys. We will see you in the next video. Alright? Hope you enjoyed. Thanks.